Our government right now are not pro-Israel at all. They got in Haya together with the South Africa against Israel. Brazilians are mostly standing with Israel. They want to know what is happening here.
This is a Visegrad 24 series about the Israel-Hamas War.
Desirée Rugani, welcome to the Visegrad 24 interview. We are here in Tel Aviv, a place where you have been living for a while and which you have gotten to know quite well, but originally you're from Brazil. The beaches are maybe a little bit similar. The weather, I guess sometimes it gets also quite hot and similar. But it is a completely different part of the world. How was the culture shock when you originally arrived here?
I already live in many places around the world, and actually the Israeli way of life is kind of similar to Brazilians. Actually, they are really friendly and positive and smiling and easygoing.
How have your friends here in Israel reacted to what happened on October 7th?
I was here when the war started, and I went to Brazil and I came back. And I came back to a really totally different country. I see the people, as you said, they are more serious. Everybody's more sad. Everybody's worried all the time. Everybody's with their hearts mostly inside Gaza, with the hostages, and with all the people that suffered so much. It's everybody, and it's all my friends, also myself. You know, I was in Brazil with my heart in Israel still, because I have so many people that I love so much here. And yeah, I can see for all of them, this is 24/7. It's all day going to hospitals, going to funerals, going to see friends that were in a party, going to, trying to help these people as much as they can.
You have been reporting on the war in Portuguese for your Brazilian audience on Twitter. Anybody who speaks Portuguese, we recommend highly to follow Desirée's Twitter channel. How is it to communicate what is happening here to a Brazilian audience compared to when you're talking to other people across the world?
Brazilians are mostly standing with Israel. And like 77% by research. So I see really easily they get the information, they want to know what is happening here. So it's really, they thank me all the time to bring the reality about the Israeli side, because the news there are not really showing what is going on in Israel, the Israeli side of this story.
Why are the Brazilian news so anti-Israeli, the mainstream news?
Our government right now are not pro-Israel at all. They got in Haya together with the South Africa against Israel. The televisions, the big streams on the TV, they get a lot of what the government...
They follow their lead. But also, as you mentioned, it's not just a Brazilian thing. In general, in journalism, people are a little bit more leaning to the left. And clearly right now, on the left, people do support Palestine and are anti-Israel. We see it in these universities across the world that they are marching against Israel. Do you feel that there is a difference in Brazil when it comes to young people and old people? Because it seems that in America and Western Europe, if you're young, you're more anti-Israel. If you're old, it's the same.
Same, yeah. As younger, it's harder because they are like, I don't really know. They get informations only from TikTok or whatever the school tell them, the story as they lead them. Actually, I already saw even girls in Brazil putting clothes as Hamas clothes and cheering for Hamas, not for Palestine, which made me really, really, really sad. I also saw many kids, small kids from the MST, as a
movement for getting land back.
Yeah, exactly. They're already singing songs against Israel, and is really, really sad what's going on with our kids there, for sure.
Here in Israel, I believe you must have had a very international group of friends, that it wasn't just Israelis, but also people from other parts of the world. When October 7th happened, did you discuss between each other whether you're staying in Israel, whether you're going back to your own countries? What was the atmosphere amongst the people who were not Israeli but were living in Israel on October 7th?
Honestly, everybody I know, they just wanted to stay. Nobody was like, some was okay, let's go for a while and then we come back, but I couldn't hear no one to say I will leave this country and never come back. Not for me. Nobody said this to me.
In general, from your Israeli friends, how do you support them when something like this happens on October 7th?
I tried my best to always be there and to show them how much I care, how much I'm sorry about what's happening here. And also because I know this war is not only with Israel, it's a world war, if you ask me, because it's already spread and is a tough, really tough situation. And I think Israel is just the first step that they want to pass by, and then the rest of the world.
Yes, with this Islamist agenda that Hamas has, being an Islamist terror organization, we have seen that there were attempts against embassies in Cyprus, in Sweden. So the threat of terrorism is something that concerns us all. However, in Brazil, I believe that at least until now you have not had any successful Islamist terror attacks. Maybe there have been some plans on doing something, but then they were stopped. But it means that probably the Brazilian people are not that afraid and worried about Islamist terrorism.
Yeah, actually, this is one of the main things that I try on my Twitter, to show Brazilians the danger, to show them what can arrive to us and what is already there. Everybody knows that still already have like Hamas and Hezbollah focus also in our Tripoli border and in the north. Everybody knows it's a known thing.
You have a lot of Lebanese people in Brazil, and Hezbollah naturally has its main base in Lebanon, so there could be some flow between.
Most of Brazilians are really simple people. They don't really understand that. They don't really understand how this war are like. They don't know story. They don't have good schools that teach them the story, so they don't really understand what is going on. They just know that have a war and what the TV say to them. This is unfortunately most of the Brazilians. They don't have a good knowledge about story. So this is one of the main things I try to show them, that I'm really sorry about that, but it will arrive even to Brazil. So we need to be aware now. We need to be more like last year in February, Iran stopped 2 warships in Rio de Janeiro for, I think, 2 weeks. And this is just how it starts.
Yes, and now Iran is joining BRICS, and Brazil naturally is one of the countries of BRICS. So it is a risk that there could be closer cooperation over there. But at the same time, there are other threats to Brazil as well when it comes from Islamism, because people don't realize it, but in the north, you have parts of the Caribbean where you have quite strong Islamist groups. For example, in Trinidad and Tobago, a lot of people went to fight for ISIS. So there are strong Islamist terror organizations active in the north. Also in Guyana, you have a lot of radical Islamism. So even if in Brazil itself right now is not very active, there is something in the region that could become worse.
Of course, also Brazil have a lot of like natural things that everybody wants, money, and so somehow I don't know if they really want to do big attacks in Brazil right now. I don't know if it's interesting for them because Brazil is like, the Brazilian people is more like neutral thing, so I don't see why they will want to really destroy Brazil in this moment, but for sure
make money, launder money,
exactly,
that type of operation.
For sure, this is what's happening.
So now, since you decided to come back to Israel after first leaving after October 7th, why did you take that decision to come back?
When I left, I was crying my heart out. For me, I was like abandoned people that I love the most, and I was like, how could I leave these people? And after arriving in Brazil, I'm telling you, my heart, my mind, 24/7 was in Israel. So I said to myself, okay, this is the place I need to be. I need to go back. I need to be there for and support the people that I love so much, for sure.
What have you appreciated the most about Israel when you have been living here?
The community of Israelis and Jewish people. I like to say this story because it's amazing. Bruna Valeano is a Brazilian woman that died at the party, and I went to her funeral and had traffic there, and everybody just stopped at the streets. We had terrorists at the time, we had alarms at the time. It was really hard times, but many people, 10,000 people went to Bruna Valeano funeral. And for me, this was so amazing. I saw how no one is alone here. No matter where you came from, 10,000 people arrived to a funeral of a girl that nobody really knew personally. Also, the people here are really mostly kind. They really try to help. As I said, they're positive people. They're happy people. They're friendly. And yeah, this is really unique, really unique. I feel a bit of Brazilians in this warm way of life that they have.
I know that you have been to other places than just Israel, but also Brazil is part of the new world, so to say, meaning that it is quite young. The Europeans, they went there a little bit 500 years ago or so. But in Israel, you have these ruins, especially in Jerusalem, which are 4,000-5,000 years old. Do you feel that when you are in Israel, that you are really somewhere that has so much history and that it is a very old place?
I try to touch everything. I walk in Jerusalem like, I want to touch this tree, I want to touch this, because the story is there, and it's the story also of Jesus, is the story that we learn since we born, and like, what I'm inside of the Bible, like it's really amazing. So for me, this is really unique thing in Jerusalem. For me, is like the Western Wall. I love to go there. I love that place. I think there the energy is amazing. I always, whenever I can, I go there to do my...
How would you compare these two main cities that people visit when they are in Israel, Jerusalem and Tel Aviv?
It's totally different. In Tel Aviv, you will see a cosmopolitan city. You're going to see, you have 24 hours, 24/7 food. It's like New York. But with beaches and stuff like this, so it's a cool city, it's a young city. You see many young people doing workout, running and stuff like this. Jerusalem is more, you can feel there. You can feel there is
the history is
the
there.
history and the energy there is different. Is older. Like if I think you're going there soon. Try to feel the difference of energy. Is something you can feel it, because it's old. Is a story. Is more religious. We'll see much more religious people there. Many people go there because of their faith. So you can feel it, understand? I really feel it. I see the difference, really.
Yeah. If we go back to those first days after October 7th, how did you find out about what was happening?
So 6:30 in the morning, I think with the entire country, we was waking up by alarms, and I went to the mamad is in my apartment. I have a mamad.
Mamad
Is a bunker. And I have the bunker inside of my apartment, which is not really regular. So I turned on the TV, and then I saw the images of they trying to get in by the sea. They getting in from the sky, and the cars getting in, crossing the fence.
And this was here in Tel Aviv.
I was here. Yeah. After like 1 hour and a half, most of the people I know already having calls from the army, and then I understood how serious.
This is much bigger than anything.
All my friends got a call. It was, and I was like, this is not normal. There is something really big happening.
And what would you say? How was the reaction by your friends on that very first day when everything was fresh to them, when it was very new, the news?
Everybody was in shock. Because they were in. Nobody knew where. Nobody knew till when they arrived, if they were here, if they were... But still, even then, people still going out to volunteer and to donate blood. Like, people still doing kind things, like to the community.
And then over the coming days, I think that more and more of your friends finally did start leaving for the army, joining various units. How do you think of your Israeli friends that you knew, percentage-wise, how many of them do you think joined the army? How many were called up in the reserve?
All of them got the call, maybe some for less time, but all of them were there, yes. Mostly the men's, for sure, yeah.
Now, time is going and passing by quickly. 3 months is soon about to turn into 4. Is there some change in atmosphere from those first days? The shock is a little bit gone and people are getting more used to the situation?
I don't think used to the situation, but I think people here, what they always said to me since the day first is this Hamas want us to be afraid to stop our lives. We're not going to surrender to them. We're going to win, and we're going to keep our lives. We're going to keep living, because what they want is us to be scared at home, and we're not going to do that. And I see that people keep trying. Of course, they are sad. As I said, I don't think they have a baby there, you know. Kfir is inside Gaza. He did 1 year old there.
It's his birthday today, yeah.
How can someone be like over it? It's not even me, but I cannot get over it. But I can see that people here really trying to, they are really strong, so they have strong souls.
People in the West, especially these young people we talked about, many of them, they are saying horrible things about Israel. They believe in horrible conspiracy theories about what Israel is about and what Jewish people do. You who have been living here, if you could tell the world one thing about what they get wrong about Israel, what would you say is the main mistake people do? What they don't understand about Israel?
People think that Israel is the tough guy, the bad guy.
The bully.
The bully guy. Is not the truth. It's not the truth at all. Is a country with kindness. They just want to live in peace. They receive people from all around the world, also the Arabs, also the Muslims, and they're trying to make a world more equal and more like democrat world.
Where people can live in freedom.
Israel is a country, is a free country, is a country that if you come here, you will be able to be yourself. And this will not happen if you cross the border to Gaza. You cannot be yourself there, for sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Desirée, for coming on. It was a pleasure, and we hope to speak again.